Here's a stamp from the French territory of Cameroon. We can see this by the RF for the Republic of France on the top left and Cameroon written alongside it. The value was 4 centimes, the subunit of the French franc. The bottom of the stamp has the engraver's name, Jean Cahor, as well as the printer's G. Darcy. The main image depicts farmers leading their cattle across a river with a mountainous backdrop. Notice that there is no cancellation or postmark. This stamp must have never been used and is in mint condition. Looking it up online, this stamp was issued back in 1925. Let's first take a look at the map. It'll help make some sense of the stamp. Cameroon is located in central West Africa with a coastline on the Atlantic. During the scramble for Africa in the late 1800s, Germany claimed and occupied the area known as Cameroon. However, after the First World War, the land was split between the British and the French, and it stayed that way right until the 1960s. So our stamp being issued in 1925 came from this French territory of Cameroon. During the early 1960s, half of the British territory merged with Nigeria, while the other half merged with the newly independent nation of Cameroon. Okay, so let's get back to the stamp, which was issued in a set of definitives. I didn't have the full set, but they were pretty much all the same, just changes to the value and the color combination. This was pretty common at the time, to just use the same design and pairs of color combinations to construct a set of stamps, particularly in the colonies and the territories. Now, I could always take these episodes a number of different directions when I start researching the stamp. But this one got me a little hung up though because of the image. You see, it's a bit of a mystery and perhaps maybe you can solve it for me, or you may already know the answer. But I found this stamp, also issued for Cameroon, but in 1941. This stamp has the exact same image, but in much better detail and quality. Oh, and it's reversed. So let me just flip the 1925 one, and I'm going to overlay it. And you'll see, it's the exact same image. One of the big differences is on the 1941 stamp, somebody's portrait is on the top right corner. So who is this guy? His name is Marshal Philippe Pétain, and his head shows up on everything French, including these French territory stamps from Dahomey, Equatorial Africa, and Mauritania, as well as our Cameroon stamp and these definitives from France. He was a World War I French hero, and he was very well respected for his leadership during the war. He was made commander-in-chief of the French forces in 1917, and to cut a long story short, he stepped back when the Nazis marched into France in 1940. He became the leader of southern France while the Nazis had power to the north, and he immediately set new legislation that pretty much mimicked the Nazi rule, including heavy anti-Semitic laws. Now, he's undoubtedly considered as a traitor, so you probably won't find his face on any French stamps today, but he was very much present on all the French stamps from 1940 to 1944 during his rule. Now, that's all we need to know about this guy. Let's get back to this picture and why I'm so hung up about it. Well, they are engraved 16 years apart, so why is the same image used? Is it of some significance? And then why is it flipped? You see, I originally thought, and it's probably the simplest theory, is that the new artists simply copied the image from the old stamp, but they did it directly. And when you make a direct engraving from an image that you see, and then stamp it onto paper, it naturally inverts the image. Not bad. You see, I don't think so. I think there's an original image out there, a photograph or a painting, that both of these stamps are based off of. Let me give you reasons why. Firstly, why would artists go to so much effort of improving the quality of an older stamp? Also, in the 1940s, the technology and the techniques existed to engrave things with the right orientation, so having it flipped made no sense. Also, in the first image, both cattle herders are left-handed. They're holding a spear in their left hand. No, seriously, think about it. If only 10% of us are left-handed, that means to have two left-handed people in the same image, that's a 1 in 100 chance. But the artist could have just come up with that in the first image. It just makes the second image a little more realistic because both cattle herders are right-handed. Just even looking at some of these other French territory stamps, the person depicted is right-handed in all of them. Basically, I'm saying that the second image, those engravers got it right. They were copying an image somewhere else with the right orientation. Oh, and one of the engravers is the legendary Gandon, whom we may recognize from the very first stamp that I pulled from the box, Marianne. He engraved Marianne a few years after engraving this one. Now, sadly, I spent a lot of time with no success in trying to find an image or a photograph that this engraving is based off of. These stamps definitely got the best of my curiosity in this episode. I just find it interesting that there's two different stamps with the same image but inverted. Let me know in the comments if you think it's just a copy of the first stamp, or if there might be a painting or a photograph with this picture. Remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching. See you next time.